Welcome, and thank you for joining this webinar, Door Closing Dilemmas in Social Housing. Today, I'm going to be talking you through some of the regular saboteurs to self-closing and the pain points that residents often experience when fire doors are not fitted correctly, which will generally filter through to those of you that are housing managers or part of a maintenance team. Our objective is to identify the problems and their solutions, and then we'll wrap up with a Q&A session at the end. By way of introduction, I'm Neil Smith of Rutland, UK. I've been in the world of fire door testing and certification for 10 years now, and it's a pleasure to be sharing some of Rutland's expertise with you today on this critical topic. At Rutland, our mission is to enhance life safety at every fire door. We believe buildings should protect the lives within it, and we can achieve this together by, one, paying close attention to what makes a fire door work as it should, two, supporting manufacturers with fire testing and certification, and three, sharing our knowledge on how to ensure fire doors are working as intended to save lives in emergency. Before we start, it's worth reminding ourselves of a sobering fact. On the night of the Grenfell Tower tragedy, some 77 out of 120 fire doors in the tower didn't have self-closers. And we all know how rapidly fire spread through the building. So let's just start by looking at what a fire door within social housing is really meant to do. The prime purpose of a fire door is to protect the fire escape route. These are known as egress routes within the building. The critical thing we're looking to achieve is compartmentation between individual apartments and the communal areas, with the fire doors acting as a barrier against smoke and fire. Smoke travels a lot faster than fire and can rise up very quickly through a building if escape routes are not sealed off. To achieve this, fire doors must be self-closing and remain closed when they're not in use. Here we have blue circles where the example of a fire door plan, the blue circles represent self-closing fire doors, and the blue lobby in the centre indicates the egress route, which is kept clear for the safe escape of residents in emergency. In residential buildings like this one, there are often multiple floors, all of which have this central stairway as an egress route for escape in the event of a fire. Now let's take a look at what qualifies a door as a fire door. In terms of legislative requirements, Building Control Approved Document B states that fire doors must be tested either to EN 1634 or to the national standard BS 476. Although BS 476 is still currently permitted, many of you will have heard that the validity of BS 476 will cease in 2029. The government has announced that it will be amended at this point, and it will no longer be referenced in Approved Document B. Third-party accreditation provides further evidence of rigorous compliance. It goes above and beyond the mandatory fire testing and smoke testing of the door set, and its hardware. It's where a UCAS accredited body will visit the door manufacturer to carry out an audit of the factory's production controls. And although it's optional, it does provide added assurance of the quality and compliance of the product and the way it has been manufactured. And it's more reliable in that an independent body is looking over the shoulder to ensure that products continue to be manufactured to the same high standard, rather than just a one-off snapshot. And then in addition to the fire safety requirements. Approved Document Q specifies the security requirements of apartment entrance doors. So this is where PAS 24 enhanced security testing is referenced. In terms of other legal stipulations, Building Control Approved Document B specifies where fire doors should be fitted within the building. And as a rule of thumb, front entrance apartment doors and escape route doors within buildings almost always need to be fire and or smoke fire doors. When it comes to the specifics of a building's fire safety requirements, it comes down to fire risk assessment undertaken by a competent person as defined in the Building Safety Act and Fire Safety Act, to ensure that specific buildings' fire measures meet the requirements of building regulations. Fire safety law applies to any building except private homes. And finally, BS 8214 sets the standards for installation and maintenance of timber-based fire doors. Rutland offers a full CPD session to housing associations and councils, which provides a much deeper understanding of how the legislation applies to your building and gives you the confidence to know whether or not your building meets the current legislation, along with practical ways to ensure the performance of your fire doors. We're now going to talk about real pain points that you may have heard firsthand from residents and tenants when it comes to fire doors. You'll most likely relate to some of the following functional challenges. So, finger trapping, issues at both the hinge side and the leading edge, difficulty with opening doors due to the door closer resistance, particularly when carrying things in both hands, and doors failing to latch properly, doors slamming closed, creating a hazard, as well as disturbance for neighbouring residents, and then damage, so damage to walls, door frames or interior decor, causing extra cost and caused by incorrectly installed doors. It's worth remembering that for residents living in social housing and apartments, it's their home. And these complaints about functional and aesthetic problems, they shouldn't go unresolved, particularly if there's a risk to their safety in an emergency. Next, the common issues that cause doors not to close. There are multiple factors that can sabotage the safe closure of a fire door. If a door isn't closing, the door closer alone can't always fix the problem. So, what else could be going on that's making the door difficult to close? So, from excessive door seals to stiff latches, or even a door which isn't sitting squarely in its frame or catching on the ground, there are quite a few factors that can stop the fire door from closing safely. But even once these issues have been addressed by adjusting hinges or replacing seals, the door may still not close as intended. One of the common problems we come across is excessive air pressures. So this is when there's a big pressure difference between rooms on each side of the door, and the door may not close properly. One clear indicator that the air pressures are the problem is if the door will latch once a window's been opened in the vicinity. Other telltale signs are if the door closes to within, say, 10 millimeters, or so, and it doesn't fully close or latch. And if you can feel a draft or in some cases hear rushing sound of air, in 99% of these cases you can actually overcome these air pressures by using a power adjustable door closer and adjusting the relative power and speed of the closing appropriately. This allows the air pressure between the rooms to equalise, and giving enough power to latch the door shut. So, however, there's good reason not to overdo the power, as we'll see over leaf. Increasing the power of a door closer can impact how easy or difficult the door is to open again. This is why it's so important to specify high efficiency door closers, and I'll just explain why. When door closers are tested to assist BS 8300, the closing force is divided by the force required to open the door, and this identifies the door closer efficiency. Some Rutland door closers have an efficiency in excess of 80%, and this means that even with the power to close against air pressures, the door is still easy enough to open. So you can see here on the chart, from fully closed to 30 degrees open, the opening force required should not exceed 30 newtons. Then from 30 to 60, the opening force required should not exceed 22.5 newtons. Our in-depth CPD training covers this all in more depth. So if you're interested, please do get in contact to book a CPD session. Now I just wanted to show you something on this fire door. Before a door closer is fitted to your door, you should be able to push the door closed just with the push of a little finger. If it requires more force than that, it is very unlikely the door will latch, even with the door closer fitted. If your door frame is not square or the door's twisted slightly, it can make the door harder to close. And then some smoke seals are made of rubber fins, which can bind and prevent the door latching. It's very noticeable where the gaps are smaller than 2 millimeters. Door gaps are recommended to be between 2 and 4 millimeters. So adjusting smoke seals, position and or door gaps can assist doors self-closing. Automatic firing locks can trigger too early, prevent the fire door self-closing. So when specifying and choosing security locks for apartment entrance doors, it's really important to ensure reliable and easy to fit lock keeps. Finally, it's important to make sure you've got the correct door closer specified for your required scenario, and it has the correctly adjusted for effortless opening and reliable closing. Specific Rutland training is actually available on this subject, so please inquire if this would be helpful to you. Regular maintenance of fire doors and door closers in particular is a crucial aspect of maintaining fire safety. But we all know that access to apartments is not often easy. If residents are out shopping, on holiday, or just simply not cooperative, it can prevent routine inspection and the maintenance. This is an issue that it could become life-threatening to them and other residents within the building in the event of a fire. So door closers fitted on the communal side, corridor, provide easy access for inspection, but they are susceptible to vandalism or being disconnected by members of the public So this is not generally recommended. To prevent vandalism or unwanted disconnection, we would recommend concealed overhead closers or closers fitted on the interior side of the door. But this does then necessitate access for maintenance. Our best recommendation here is simply forward planning and really good communication. In our in-depth CPD training for contractors and social housing landlords, we include this in our syllabus with helpful tools how to educate residents on practical fire safety. To close off our webinar on door closing dilemmas in social housing, here's a summary of our solutions to those residents' pain points that we mentioned earlier. There's a wide range of door closers available to you. So from scissor arm door closers that shut the door with the classic rack and pinion mechanism to slide arm door closers which smoothly close the door thanks to the cam action design. Rutland also has a range of concealed overhead door closers designed to reliably close any fire door across a range of scenarios. So do get in touch with our specialists who can guide you towards the best door closers for your application. Once you've specified the right door closer, it's vital that it's properly adjusted. So unlike the factory test bed, each individual door set will perform differently depending on where it's installed. So a competent installer will ensure the door set is correctly fitted and that the door closer is configured to reliably close the door for years to come. Then finally, before April last year, there wasn't a fully coordinated, colour-coordinated range of compatible fire, smoke and security FED hardware on the market, which resulted in poor-looking doors. Residents would have to put up with a satin silver door closer, a different shade of silver handle, another silver finished letter plate, and so on. With the Frontier collection from Rutland, residents can now enjoy their home enhanced with colour-coordinated apartment entrance door hardware that's not only safe, but it looks the part too. So if you'd like to learn more, simply search online for Rutland Frontier collection or request a brochure from our sales team. It's time now for your questions, and we've already received some excellent questions. Thank you. I'm just scanning through these now. I think we'll group three of these questions together. So there's a couple of questions relating to the latest BS476 announcement. Question: when do we need to specify fire doors are tested only to EN 1634? And the second question is there 5 years, or is it not 2 years if you look at the 2026 amendments? Legally, there's nothing you need to change until 2029. That's the amendment to Doc B. But let's be clear, BS 476 can still be used for now. All I'm saying to people is make sure you communicate with your fire door suppliers on their plans and their timescales. The last thing you want is to make your tenders exclude BS 476 too soon, as you could then be digging a hole, jumping in too soon and finding that there's loads and loads of situations in your buildings that the fire door industry cannot meet with the door permutations only tested to BS 476 standard. And the second question, I was wondering if someone was going to ask about the 5 years or 2 years. Yes, you're correct. You could take The small print in the 2026, September 26 amendment as all smoke fire doors being classified to EN. But BS 476 will still be referenced in Doc B until 2029. So in reality, it could hit the industry sooner than expected, but 2029 is the date. There's a couple of questions regarding door closers here. We'll just group those together. So, question regarding adjustable strength door closures. Our fire door supplier used a fixed power size 3 door closure. Assume you mean door closers there. It's common. People call them closures, but we still get these air problems and doors not closing. Can any fire door supplier use power adjustable if we request them? Good question. What I'd say to that is, if the door closers, power adjustable door closers are permitted in the door core certification or field of application, then yes. That's your starting point really, is to ask what door core they're using. If it's their own door design, it may require a special fire test in their system, if not already permitted. But yes, it's possible. If you'd like further guidance on specification or installation training, do get in touch. We can cover this off in a special training session designed around your needs. Got another door closer question here. Does anyone do security fixings to stop people disconnecting closers? Very important, especially if the only place to fit the closer is the communal side of the door. So yes, anti-tamper fixings are available from most door closer manufacturers, definitely from Rutland, but please ask and we can give you options to try. And another door closer question while we're on it. One big question is opening forces and older people not being able to get through doors. What do you suggest? And just group that with the next question relating to ease of opening. Question, how do you prove door closers are easy to open? So my answer to that is at Rutland we use a Newton meter gauge. In fact, I've got one here. This is to measure the opening closing force. If you haven't got a Newton meter gauge, it's worth getting. That's if you've got hundreds of doors. The calibrated ones are very expensive, but we can also offer to come out to site and test for you. So test your doors in situation. Next question looks to be about maintenance. I love talking about fire door maintenance, so this is a good one. Question, hi, I'm the maintenance manager for a housing association. I'm looking for a door closer that is reliable and easy to maintain for my guys. Do you have anything that is easy to adjust and simple maintenance for my team? Maintenance is absolute key, crucial. Again, best have a free site visit, assess your particular issues, and yes, there will be a lowest cost, lowest maintenance door closer solution for you. So do get in touch on that. Well, just to give you some key takeaways, ensure your door sets are being installed and maintained in accord with current legislation. So just keeping up to date with legislation, and we can help in that in our deep dive sessions and extra training offers. And then the second key takeaway I would say is that a door closer isn't designed to overcome external issues. So what we've talked about, air pressures, excessive smoke seals in the wrong positions, lock keeps not adjusted correctly and so on. So a fire door isn't a fire door if it's not closed. It can't perform its protection, compartmentation, so on. So a door closer isn't designed to overcome all these extra issues that we've talked about. And so we can train you on that in more depth if needed. And then lastly, a third key takeaway is if there's something today that we've spoken about that you want more help on, we have just gone over things very much on the surface, not in depth, just to give a broad range. But reach out to the Rutland training team. There's more CPDs available in much more depth, so it can be an inch wide and mile deep on your particular contractors' issues, maintenance teams' issues. Do reach out on that and invite us in we'd be glad to come and see you. So this concludes our webinar today. Again, many thanks for joining, and we do hope you have found this is useful to your role and your organisation. Thank you very much.